So second race on day 2 that we'll be covering is the RSA Novices Chase. The other 2 novice chases looked pretty much sewn up. I felt like before Monkfish ran at Christmas that he was going to be the one to win, but I just wasn't overly impressed with his jumping. And I know that people will say, oh, he sorted himself out and he found a stride, all those little gigs, but I'd be like, I don't think he should be as short as he is. I think he could be vulnerable in the jumping department. I do think his engine's so big, though, that he does need to make a mistake to get beat. But, yeah, I think he's too short now. A big breakaway. People will be on at bigger prices. His run round Cheltenham was just so good that I can't forget that. Forget what he did after. I think his run at Kempton was quite good. Robbie Power did everything he could to just put him behind a wall of horses. I don't know why. Maybe just to settle him or what it was. I don't know. But I still think he's got a bit of a chance. Next destination for Paul Nicholls, he's going to be running I think it was Warwick who'll be running him in, and then he's going to come for the RSA. So, like, he shouldn't be good enough to win this, but if he steps up on that Newbury run and, like, with normal progression, give him a little bit of a squeak. But, yeah, it looks like it's going to be a pretty decent race, to be honest. We've all said that the Albert Bartlett looks like one of the best races from last year anyway, so I suppose everyone else is just going to fancy Monkfish, but I wasn't too impressed with his jumping. Jamie, what do you make of the race?
Anchor of the meeting, Dave. Monkfish, move on.
Oh, sweet Jesus, Darryl.
Oh, Monkfish is a good thing. Look, I think I will say a little bit more than that. I do think the big breakaway has got a good chance, right? I'd have him to reverse that form of Chamblou all day long. I don't know what on earth Robbie Power was doing. And to be honest with you, I'm losing a lot of faith in Robbie Power. No wonder Ireland have got rid of him. He just finds trouble all the time for me. Like, if you watch that race, big breakaway, hits nearly every fucking fence on the way round, and he still gets within 3 3/4 lengths of Chamblou. Everyone after the race is raving about Chamblou. They should have been raving about the big breakaway and how the hell he's got so close to Chamblou, who's done absolutely nothing wrong since, and hit every fence on the way round. I think the big breakaway's got loads more to come. I do. I think but I just don't like the fella that rides him. To be fair, I think the only reason they dropped him back at Trip at Exeter, which was completely the wrong move. If you look at every single sectional timing that the big breakaway did at Cheltenham, all it tells you is that the best work he did was at the finish. And I reckon the reason they dropped him back in Trip was because Robbie Power said after in an interview, he could be dropped back and go at 2.5. He can't go at 2.5. He ain't fast enough to go at 2.5. But he's got a massive engine, and that will sit him in good stead here. And I do think that he has got a big chance. He's the same price as Chamblou. I think he'd reverse that form all day long. But Monkfish is he's so good. And I don't think we've even seen the best of him yet either. He sort of hurdles a lot of his fences. That would be a slight concern. But he gets away with him so quick. And latest exhibition came to him at Leopardstown, and he just went on again. And I think at the finish line, I think he did it a lot more easier than what it officially looked like at the finish. So for me, Monkfish, I think he's going to be very difficult to beat. Latest exhibition probably got more to come. This Le Berry from France, I couldn't have him. I don't like him. I watched a few of his races on At the Races. If you want to see his races, go on attheraces.com, and you've got the video of all the French form there. I couldn't really have him. And I think this race is going to cut right up. And I don't think any of the British are good enough. And I think he's beaten the best in Ireland. And he's won the Albert Bartlett, the strongest race at the festival last year. I think he's rock solid. I really do.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth mentioning
But just look at Paul Townend when he goes past the line. And he thought, exactly next exhibition comes here. I was like, and Townend, you just smile and Townend's face. I go, wait, this thing's a good thing altogether. Banker of the meeting.
That was literally what I was just about to mention, Jamie. There's a quality picture that went out on Twitter of Paul Townend after, like, proper beaming, almost like as if people thought this horse was going to get anywhere near me. Like, that was the thing about him. Like, there's an air of, like, beastliness about Monkfish, but I feel like maybe he could get done in an RSA and then still progress into a beast of a horse over fences later. Don't know.
The thing was, last year in the Albert Bartlett, I remember saying to you two, like, I took that photo of him. I'll never forget it. I took that photo of him in the pre-parade, and his back end was just like so skinny, and like I don't know what it was. From watching these videos, I thought he was going to be a bit of a tank of a horse. His back end was so skinny. It looked like he had so much growing to do. And I just thought, I was a bit disappointed when I saw him, really. And then he went and done that. And then I haven't seen him, obviously, in the flesh since, but just from watching his videos, I've tried to pause his videos, zoom in on the picture and that. He does look like a bit of a stronger horse now. I won't be able to tell until we're in the flesh anyway. But look, from last year, he had so much more growing and so much more to come. And the way he stuck his neck out in that Albert Bartlett, like he was headed and he was beaten. And he battled back and stuck his head out. Like, that's a sign of a very good horse for me. I think he's very, very good. I really do.
Matt, what do you
roll on next year? And Allen versus Monkfish. I can't wait.
Oh yeah, it's going to be stonking, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, that's going to be stonking. Matt, come on, mate.
Yeah, you can't help being impressed by Monkfish. Like Dave said, I think previously Albert Bartlett had sort of murmured that he wasn't keen to go through gaps and get his head in front. But the Albert Bartlett and this, he just looks far more mature this season, as Darryl said. The other one I do like is the other Mullins one, the Big Getaway. But whether or not they'll split them up now, Paul Townend's already getting his oar in money, saying that 2.5 miles was his trip, wasn't there? So, but if he came here, I think he'd be the biggest danger to Monkfish, to be honest with you. I think he's go from the front like he did in the Ballymore, and he could put him in trouble. But obviously, Monkfish should be difficult to brush aside.
Yeah, and stupidly, I didn't mention the Big Getaway in the National Hunt Chase thing because Paul Townend talked about the fact that he's a 2.5 miler. But Willie Mullins said in the stable tour at the beginning of the season, just a stupid comment which just made me think National Hunt Chase about him, because he said he's the sort of horse that any jockey would love to ride. And I just thought, what, we're doing a stable tour about him. Talk about his targets. Don't put a line like that in. And it made me feel like Patrick's badgering me to ride this horse, the National Hunt Chase. And you remember Black Hercules went fab for the National Hunt Chase, didn't he? Because he ran in a qualifying race for it. Ended up going in the JLT and won that. So the Big Breakaway does look, or the Big Getaway does look very versatile. But I think as much as he could be like a good horse in this, Paul Townend's just not going to have him in here, is he? Because he wants to ride him somewhere else. And if he doesn't, then they're going to let Patrick over the National Hunt Chase. Are we ready to move on, or anything else to add, boys?
No.
Animals. I reckon, I don't know, I'm going to look like a mug and but I don't know. I reckon he'll get caught on his jump, and I reckon he'll make a bad one. Right, end of video. Cut.